I'm Steve Meyer with Future Farm Grown, and I have with me Sean Vanderwall, who is our plant expert.
Ooh, I don't know about expert.
Well, we call you our plant expert.
That'll work.
And also our media, would you call it media guy?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yep.
So anyway, so what we wanted to do is sit down today. We're in our 8th growing season right now this year, and what we do is we run hydroponics, and we've run aquaponics for a number of years as well. We've turned over almost solely to hydroponics now, and the market really right now seems to be exploding. I'll call it the food movement a little bit.
Yeah, healthy eating or
yeah,
not as much.
I don't even know if you call it healthy eating or food move or what you would call it, but I think the food system, agriculture, and the healthcare system has kind of failed us, and everybody's trying to search to find how they can do their own thing. And we get asked all the time those questions. We're just kind of doing a little piece of it within like providing good, clean food to people, but there's so much going on. So what we want to do is try to cover and dig into some of this stuff and talk about it, expose some of the stuff, look for comments from people on what's going on, and we'll tell you along the way a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, and we thought the best way to start it off was to pretend that we were professional foragers. So it's 92 degrees out right now,
Yeah,
and
it's
we
not
said
real
let's
nice.
go in the woods and find some healthy things to eat. I think we were looking for morels.
Well, hold on a second there. I was kind of guaranteed that we were going to get some morels today.
If you put us on good property.
Oh, so that's how it is.
Stipulations. But
anyway, as you can see, we do not have. Maybe what we'll do is we'll edit. Let's do this. Let's edit in a nice picture of some morels so everybody can see what they do look like.
I'll actually
All
go to the properties where I know they are once I leave here.
And then when I'm not.
Yeah, once I leave
I'm
here.
not with you. Okay, cool.
But no, get out there anyways, and had a chance, came across some ramps, some pheasant back mushrooms. Love eating ramps. A mediocre fan of the pheasant back.
So now hold on. Tell me a little bit. I'm a little bit skittish. I will say I'm an amateur forager. So I have played around a little bit with the lawn things that people say you can make a salad out of your lawn, which is if you don't. I guess you're not supposed to put fertilizer and chemicals on it before you pick. But so anyway, I didn't tell my wife, but we have had a few salads off of our lawn just to try that out. So my foraging experience is minimal. I've been slightly afraid of the mushroom thing. I know what a morel looks like, but I've never found one. So and today it kind of proves out that I don't think there are many, if any, around.
Again, it's a property that we were relegated to. I grew up finding morels with my good friend Lucas and good friend Eric, and we used to find them by the potato sack full.
Okay, so hold on a second. So first of all, you just say I go out with my friend Lucas. Somehow you had to get exposure to this. How did you get exposed to foraging? Like as a kid, did your parents do it? What?
You know, I knew about morels, never thought anything of it. Walking one Sunday, I found like 10, thought I was king of the world. Because I had found those mushrooms, and then went out onto this property the next day that it was adjacent to it, and we picked 80 plus pounds of morels.
So like what age are you at this point?
I don't know. I was probably a sophomore in high school. So
and 80 some pounds, like street value on that is like
about $28 a pound. I'm not a math teacher, so I can't tell you. No, it was
a teacher though. So
I am a teacher.
So we could do 20 times 80 is about, I don't know, 2 times 8, $1,600 worth.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads into a great conversation about it. Is back then I saw dollar signs, and I was flipping morels and also flipping a few in the saute.
Never really a guide though for you. You just kind of self-taught.
No,
along the way. Any guides along the way that like
I think we
took you under their wing or you chummed with and said, teach me everything you know.
Mentioned today that we just came up with 100 theories about morels and disproved 100 theories about morels every time we went looking for them. So it was kind of a learning with my friends as we did look for them. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your background. I called you the plant expert. Come in. You're also a teacher. Do a lot of different things. You expose your students. What is your actual, I always call you an ag teacher. I don't think that's your officially your title.
It works. Agri-science instructor, ag teacher.
kind of a dying
mass,
thing
yeah.
that's kind of gotten a bad name out there. I'm saying let's say this, is that agriculture right now is getting a little bit of a black eye because of the mass production of crops
Absolutely.
and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but you're in there fighting every day trying to teach kids the good side of it and how they can be the farmer again, right?
Yeah, and just to see the good side of it, the negative images that are so painted on social media and everywhere else are dominant in these kids' minds right now, and they think agriculture is this horrible thing and never once for a second stop to consider that it's where everything that they wear, they eat, comes from. I've always been passionate about it. I wouldn't say I'm a plant expert. I would say I'm just really passionate about plants. And I think
That's fair.
stems from my dad. He was a greenhouse. He owns a greenhouse and landscape company north of Milwaukee, over in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And then his family has deep roots in pepper production in the Netherlands. And my uncles are still doing a lot of indoor pepper production and high.
Maybe what we should say is, for this thing at one point, to expose the people to that, we should take a trip to Holland and see that.
You're paying for it?
Yeah.
Great, I'm in. My wife would like to
As
come
long as
too.
the people, listen in and subscribe.
We'll
or
come to you
something.
live from Holland.
I'm not sure how this all works, but
For
something
business
like that.
purposes.
Yeah. We'll find a way to work. If we set that as our goal, we'll do it. Anyway, sidebar. So your family, you basically were raised in a greenhouse then. Your dad made you work.
Yeah, no, definitely. It wasn't necessarily I was chomping at the bit for school to end so I could get to the greenhouse every day and fill flats and work with plants, but
Didn't hate it.
didn't hate it. No, I didn't hate it, and now I love it. I love growing food in particular, and I think that kind of in my background brings me full circle to met you through doing some video stuff, and I have a passion for producing food, and what you're doing and what we're doing it's kind of a really great direction to go with food production.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that. Like I said, we run a hydroponic farm. Future Farm Grown is our brand name out in the market, and said we're in our 8th growing season. It took us a long time to figure out. We started out aquaponically. For us, it didn't work. The numbers, we just couldn't get the numbers to work out, get enough production. You play around with some fish at your school with your greenhouse. You're growing fish. It's fun. It's fun raising fish. But what we find now is that in the square footage that we're had the fish in, we can make about 10 times the revenue. But I always tell people, first and foremost, we have to be sustainable as a business. I think it's really cool, and there's a lot of models out there that you follow from a permaculture standpoint, and from that are all really good for a family to do in their backyard. But to produce commercially, the number one thing that you have to do is you have to deliver consistently to your customer. I always tell people that it's really easy to grow something once. To grow something consistently is a whole other thing. So that's what we really focused on. It's taken us some time. Really, the last 2 to 3 years is when we've really figured that out. And now the market is really, this year in particular, the market, I don't know if it was the late winter or what, but the market is really, really exploding out there.
I think too, if you step even away from the business standpoint, I think one characteristic that I really appreciate about what you do, and I think what makes you successful and has made you and your family successful, is an entrepreneurial spirit and an exploratory spirit. People are always so worried that if I don't do it right, it's not going to work and I'm not going to have plans. But to those people, you have to almost just say, you got to try it. You got to try growing something at home for yourself once to see what you're capable of.
Yeah, I think it's really funny in this industry. Everybody's so closed up about you can't get any information about it. It's really tough to learn what's out there. So we've kind of taken the opposite approach. Is we kind of open source, probably too much, bring people in, let them see what we do, and teach people. I mean, we have our own home growing units and school units where people can actually it duplicates what we do and learn how to do it firsthand. Because what hydroponics allows you to do is it really allows you to grow greens for your family year round in a very little space in your basement or your garage. So it's not a lot of work.
And what did we bring here today? I thought you talked about having some microgreens, some healthy options.
So one of the things that I say a business, be sustainable as a business. One of the things that we do is we don't really, we're kind of boring in that we don't have a lot of variety in what we do. So we do a lot of butterhead lettuce, which I call it the future Wonder Bread. Really,
it's delicious.
Well, it's
good.
You look at agriculture. It's given it's like we talked before. It's given itself a black eye, right? Every health movement right now is what? It's anti what? Dairy and anti-grain, and really, it's not that way because people are making it up. It's that way because people's kids are allergic to, or somebody has an allergic reaction to how much lactose intolerance. Just about everywhere is lactose intolerant or gluten intolerant, so it's gluten-free, whatever free. So everybody's going no grains, no dairies. Well, you look at where we live, that's the heart of what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And as that moves, I see some real pains if we don't take and start adjusting to what we're doing. So that's why we take what we do and we're starting in our own little world of trying to teach people about hydroponics and what we can do. So we have the butterhead lettuce that we do, which is a staple out there. And we play around in getting more and more into it. Microgreens are really fun.
Yeah, and good tastes too.
Good taste. Nutrition is a big thing, right? Our nutrition values of all our food is depleted so bad. And microgreens is something you can grow at home really easy. Like I said, it's really easy to grow something once.
And fast turnaround too.
Fast turnaround. But it's a whole different animal to deliver to customers. So I always tell people, what is your intent? If you want to grow as a business, okay, let's talk about that. But if you want to grow as a family, really simple, we can set you up and you can do that really easily. You can grow greens year round. You can have in 7 to 10 days, you can have some nice fresh 4 days, you can have some nice sprouts in a jar.
And packed with nutrition too.
It's got really, because I don't have a lot of validation, but you can go out and read. There's a lot of stuff coming out on microgreens right now, but they say that all the nutrient of that whole plant is in that, before that first true leaf comes out, all the nutrient that has come from that seed, the energy that's come from that seed, everything is in that plant at that point. So not only does a radish microgreen taste like a radish, but it's got all the nutrient of what the whole radish would have. So now that might not be quite true, but that's how I understand it at this point. We'll get some validation on that. But so what we love to do now is we sit down with people and we do a microgreen tasting session. It's like, and it pairs,
like wine pairings almost.
But
with microgreens.
I haven't quite figured out how to do wine pairing with microgreen, but you can do some definite food things with microgreen. So what we're gonna do is we'll probably go cook some stuff up.
Yeah.
Come back, we'll grab some microgreens, we'll throw it on and kind of talk through those for a little bit.
Perfect.
All right, so I feel like one of these cooking shows where the beauty of editing is all of a sudden, boom, we pop in and we got some food in front of us, right?
Yeah, so it looks really good.
So we got a little stuffed pepper. I think it's called Philly cheesesteak stuffed pepper is what it is, I think. This is what Lexi told me. So one of the things about, let's go back to foraging here. I'm jumping a little bit. Let's go back to foraging a little bit. One of the things that just scares people about foraging, and especially mushrooms, is I'm going to die when I eat them. So I'm trusting you a little bit on the pheasant. I have never tasted pheasant back before, and this is a new experience to me. So that's how it's going to be. All right. Yeah. So we took this and we that's probably a little bit too big a piece. We took one of these and we sauteed it up in some butter.
Of course.
Because everything's better with butter. That's one thing about the dairy industry that I don't know how, it doesn't matter really, like how much bad stuff is in the butter. People are always going to eat butter.
Butter rocks.
Well, maybe. That's probably not totally true. So we took some ramps as well. We cut those down. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm familiar with those.
Those are very good.
What would you say? Let's go with the wine thing again. Let's say the flavors that, like nutty.
No, it's a hint of garlic.
Oh, little onion. Finishes. You got to go front, middle, and end.
And it settles out on the end with a touch of earth.
It is pretty earthy.
I think that might be the mushroom that I'm still chewing on.
Yeah, we're not really big on this, so the whole palate cleansing thing is not really. Okay,
like
so I'm gonna go at the pheasant back here. It's a pretty good chunk. It's been fried in butter, and I'm not gonna be like in the fetal position all night, cramped up.
Can't promise that. I can't promise anything.
All right.
All
right. Well, it's chewy.
It's like chewing on
What?
mushroom leather.
It is leather. Wow.
Maybe we overcooked it.
I'm gonna have to go with like that's not really pleasant.
I might have to try
The flavor is good.
I might have to try deep fryer.
Sorry. I'm gonna feed that to the birds.
Not having.
I'm gonna try a smaller one. I think the flavor was really good. It was very more than leathery even. Like it was like
wood.
Yeah.
Ramps rock.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know if it would matter how much you cook that down.
What's your tasting notes on the mushroom?
Oh.
A touch of chipmunk manure.
It's pleasant. The flavor is very pleasant. I don't know. That doesn't tell you much, but
the texture is not.
Okay.
Something
Anyway,
we can control.
I would say though that our foraging piece, I won't call it a fail because we did get something, and we wouldn't go hungry. So, but I'm gonna try to finish this one out. So you have to.
Well, and I'll take this over while you're finishing
ahead.
up. Something you can control, something that, again, we mentioned growing before is...
Sorry, I gotta get rid of it.
we grow the microgreens, and again, there's so much flavor. And tonight we have... what do we have here? We have arugula. And then we ran in and boxed up some scallions here. Some very good oniony flavor there, much like the ramps. And then
Sometime we'll do a segment on how we actually grow them, probably.
yeah, at some point. And then a red mustard, which is kind of, in my opinion, has if you want my tasting notes on it, a horseradish-like flavor. And then a blend of kale, the red mustard, scallions, all into a mix that really pairs really, really well with red meats. And enjoy that tonight with our fantastic stuffed peppers and
Philly cheesesteak
stuffed peppers.
So I think what we should do is we'll cut that pepper and then we'll eat that plain. So, we'll just dig into that a little bit and then maybe find a piece of steak in there.
I know how much people love watching other people eat, so.
Yeah, well, we'll try to make that simple. So I got a piece of steak here and I'm gonna take, we've mixed together, it's kind of a proprietary blend, but we call it our meat mix. It's very earthy and deep. And if you throw a little bit of that on that fork. Hope the wind doesn't blow it off.
I'll hold things. Top notch.
It's awesome.
It's a winner. And this is why it's good to grow your own food.
Well, the one thing about microgreens, like we talked about, is that flavor punch. And I think that's why it's gotten so popular. Is the chefs love it, is they don't have to process the radish or the onion as much. You can just put this on and get that hit of flavor that's on there, and
That's good.
it's really amazing when you take your food, like when you go out to eat, right? Typically when you got the garnish, what did you do? You set it off to the side, right?
Right.
So now it's a little bit different. You get a bowl of soup, it might have a garnish in it. It's the microgreens that's adding flavor to it and eating. And a lot of people aren't really familiar. Oh, we gotta hang on here. Aren't really familiar with microgreens and what they do. So we'll spend some time over the next few segments and talk a little bit about them. Try to educate you a little bit more on what you can do, how you can grow them yourself, try them out. But it's really amazing. I mean, we've tried carrot and dill and whatever, and
Chervil and
yeah, and I mean, you throw out in 5-6 days, and you get a plant that you eat, and it tastes like dill. You don't have to wait. And typically, dill is something when you're cooking with. It doesn't take a whole lot to throw in there. So you don't need to wait for that whole big plant till the end of the summer till the dill comes out. You can have that year round.
yeah, and a lot of great flavor there. And I guess again, get to see the facility and learn more about how we grow these. Make sure that you take an opportunity to stop back and check out more of these videos as they come down the stretch.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for dinner.
Yeah, hey, no problem.
That's a win for me.
Thanks for coming in and doing this. It was
Happy
awesome.
to.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.